The following video is a training video to show how to safely and responsibly do the stand pivot transfer. The stand pivot transfer is a transfer where you can move an individual who does not have full ability to move themselves from a seat to another. The word pivot indicates that the individual can place at least some weight on one or both of their legs. And so this means that they are able to move themselves with minimal/moderate assistance from you. And we also listed some examples where this would be helpful. Moving someone from a wheelchair and from a car, to and from the toilet, to and from a chair, and also to and from a chair from another chair. So if you need to move a student from a seat to a table or from one seat to the other, these are all ways in which the stand pivot transfer can be used. And the purpose of this video is really to show how to do the stand pivot transfer in the most safest way, and also how to do it correctly. If you're not able to correctly do the stand pivot transfer with a student, it is very, very important to make sure you ask another person for help, because that way you will hurt both yourself and the individual. The main points that will be covered in this video are, first and foremost, safety. As we've already discussed, if it's not done safely, you can cause harm to yourself or the individual. Also, communication with the student is very important. You will find that the stand pivot transfer is a very intrusive transfer, just because you are touching an individual in a way that could be seen as uncomfortable. So it's very important before you do anything to let the student know exactly what you're going to do, and also ask them for permission before just going up and touching them. Also, we will show step-by-step of the transfer with broken down videos, and also a complete video which shows how it would look like going through the motions fluidly. While going through the steps, we're going to show correct techniques and also non-examples.
The first step in transferring a student from their wheelchair to another surface is to position the wheelchair directly next to the surface in which the student is being transferred to. This reduces the area in which the student needs to move, making the transfer easier. Next, lock the wheelchair brakes and be sure to move the footrests away from the feet and armrests away from the arms. It is important to communicate this to your student so they know what is expected.
Okay, now I'm going to move your arm and feet away from your arm and footrest so I can take off the armrest and the footrest of your wheelchair.
If a gait belt is being used, secure it by putting it around the student's body, through the loops, and pull so it is tight just above the hips. If it is too loose, the belt will come up on the student and lose its function. However, be sure to not put it too tight where it is uncomfortable on the student. Now, have the student move their bottom towards the edge of the seat if they are able to. If not, assist as needed. By having the student towards the edge of the seat, it makes standing up easier on both the student and the teacher.
Hey Kelly, are you able to scoot yourself to the edge of the seat? Yep.
Next, the person doing the transferring should stand in front of the student and place their knees on the knees of the student being transferred to create a stable system of support when the student stands up.
All right, I'm going to put my knees on your knees.
Now, place your hands under the student's arms on their waist or gait belt if one is being used. Be sure to let your student know what you are doing ahead of time. Have the student place their hands on the armrest or the surface that they are sitting on in order to push off and help with the lift.
Kelly, I'm going to put my arms around your waist.
Count to 3 and tell the student to push with both arms and legs to a standing position while holding onto the student's waist or gait belt and gently lifting up.
All right, when I count to 3, you're going to push yourself up with your arms and stand, okay? 1, 2, 3.
After the student is in a stable, standing position, pivot them to the other surface. While holding onto the student or gait belt, have them reach for the surface and gently lower them onto it. Adjust the student as needed or as they direct you to.
All right, now grab onto the arms of the chair.
Here is the complete and appropriate way to do an assisted pivot transfer. Anna makes sure to communicate with her student about what she is going to do. She has proper hand and foot placement and takes necessary precautions to ensure the safety of her and her student.
All right, Kelly, I'm going to take off your arm and feet rest, so I'm going to move your arms. And now I'm going to put your gait belt on, so you can lift your arms up to me. All right, can you screw yourself to the edge of your seat? Yep. Okay, I'm putting my arms around your waist and my knees on your knees, so put yourself up on the count of 3 using your arms. 1, 2, 3. Turn and put your arms on the armrest.
The following clips show some common mistakes that can be made while doing this transfer. While these mistakes may seem minor, they can cause serious issues regarding safety or dignity of the student. In this clip, the gait belt was not put on tight enough around the student. When the teacher tries to lift up on the belt to have the student stand, it comes up on the student and offers no support to her or the teacher. The teacher in this video lacked in several areas. Before moving her arms or legs, the teacher never communicated to the student what she was going to do. This could easily frighten the student and make the process much more difficult. She also did not have correct hand placement for the student holding on to her. Be sure to have the student put their hands on the seat of the surface they are sitting on or around the waist of the person doing the transferring. Lastly, the teacher in this video never talked to the student at all about what was happening. A student who needs assistance in transferring from place to place deserves clear communication about the process and what should be expected of them. Watch the correct way to do an assisted pivot transfer one more time and be sure to keep these 3 things in mind when practicing yourself. Clear communication with your student, proper body mechanics, and prioritizing safety.
All right, Kelly, I'm going to take off your arm and feet rest, so I'm going to move your arms. And now I'm going to put your gait belt on, so you can lift your arms up to me. All right, can you screw yourself to the edge of your seat? Yep. Okay, I'm putting my arms around your waist and my knees on your knees, so put yourself up on the count of 3 using your arms. 1, 2, 3. Turn and put your arms on